Hello, welcome to my channel and welcome to another cast video. Today we're going to be doing our second video in the mini cast series where I make a bunch of My Little Pony characters in The Sims because I have no self-control and I want to make so many different characters because there's a surprising amount of really great characters in this show, even though they are all horses written for children. Sometimes that's where you get the best stuff. I don't know. And this episode will be finishing up with the main six with Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie. And we'll also be looking at some of my favorite side characters that aren't very constant but do appear in multiple episodes as kind of a main piece of the episode, and they're honestly super great characters. So we have Zecora and Maud, Pinkie's polar opposite sister, which just seems to make their relationship even sweeter. I love it so much. This is the second part of the series. You can go watch the other one. You don't have to. It really doesn't matter. Cast videos, there's no chronological order really. I just am saying it's part 2 because it technically is, but it doesn't matter. Also, remember when I said this would be a 4-part series? I lied. I'm making 5. I wanted to add some Equestrian Girls characters and a certain pair of background characters to make. So make out their own video. As I did with the main set previously, I made, whole little mood boards for them. So we are starting with Rainbow Dash, and it was really hard to pick her traits because she's super active, super bro, super self-assured, maybe even self-absorbed, but I'll give her some grace. She also has the element of loyalty, and I have to give her the trait for the loyalty. So in my head, she has all 4 of those traits, but I couldn't fit all 4. So I think Rainbow Dash used to be my favorite character because I was one of those kids who hated pink and girly things, and I liked all the sporty characters. And I don't know why that is, because I really don't like sports. I really don't like sports. I had such a hard time making Rainbow Dash's face for no reason. I remade her about 5 different times. I could not get the mischievous spirit down. I could not figure out how to make her look mischievous. She either looked super evil or super cute. I think I was just having a terrible sim day that day, and I just decided to just keep going even though I clearly was not having a good sim day. Not only did I have a hard time for this video, but I also did a crazy amount of blabbing when I was writing my notes for this video. 4 pages. Why do I have 4 pages of notes? It does look like her, but I do think for each of the characters today, I could have gone a couple different directions. So I don't know if it's the perfect direction to go for her, but I think it's pretty. I couldn't make her hair a full rainbow because there's just no way to do that in The Sims. I got very lucky with Day Life Sims because there was 4 different colors I could add, which is the maximum that you can do in this game, really. So I stuck with greens, blues, purples, and pinks because I figured those are the colors that go the most with her general blueness, and I felt like it would kind of clash if she just had a couple pieces of yellow and red on her outfit. I'm realizing a lot, a big majority of MLP characters have purple or mint or turquoise eyes, but mostly turquoise, honestly. Every sim in this video except for Rainbow has turquoise eyes of some extent. Rainbow wears a lot of turquoise, or, well, she's more sky blue, but still. So Rainbow and our next character, Rarity, both are probably the characters with the strongest and most ambitious goals in the show. Rainbow wants to join the Wonderbolts, which is basically a group of championship flyers who fly at tournaments, and I'm blanking on what else they do, but they do cool stuff. Make a lot of decisions that end up testing her loyalty. Same thing with Rarity. Her goals were sometimes compromised with her generosity, but for the most part it wasn't. Actually, she used her skills to be generous, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So Rarity is a stylist and a businesswoman. She owns a boutique at the start of the show, but she still aims higher. She wants to make it big and have an excelling fashion line in Manhattan. Get it, Manhattan, but horse, because they horse. Works so hard, and she's a bit of a workaholic, maybe even more so than Twilight. I remember there was an episode where Rarity had the opportunity to put on the fashion show of a lifetime. Her friends were going to be the models. This was her big moment. She customized each gown to each of her friends to show off their unique interests and personalities, and she had this big fashion name in the crowd that she wanted to wow. I made these gorgeous gowns. The whole episode she was just working. All of the other ponies were convinced their ideas for their gowns were better than hers, who you know, she's a professional stylist and they didn't let her do her job. She wanted them to be happy, so she changed their outfits to suit their tastes, and let's face it was ugly. She wanted them to all approve of their outfits, and she wanted to like her work, but that controlled her to make work she wasn't proud of, and she blew the initial talent show. Her friends just didn't care before the talent show happened that maybe they weren't making the right decision by making her make all these changes. They weren't trusting her abilities. They weren't listening to the amazing ideas she had. And it ended up backfiring a lot on her. But her friends did end up making up for it in the end, but it was kind of hard to watch. She worked her ass off for them and they kept complaining, even though it was her big moment. But anyway, I just felt like talking about that. I really like Rarity. So really, I love Rarity so much. She is such a diva, and I mean that in a good way. She has the element of generosity. She's an artist and businesswoman. She empathizes with positions that are not her own, even if she doesn't really understand them. She struggles with Applejack at first. They have this like huge feud at a sleepover because they're used to very different lifestyles. Applejack is obviously a farm girly, and Rarity loves her fashion. I think those things can absolutely intersect, but I don't think the characters realize that. Like, Applejack knew how to appreciate a nice outfit, and she wasn't particularly grimy all the time. And Rarity would go down to the mines to collect gemstones, which is like kind of, you know, dirty job, even though she did use her like magic to mine, but like still, you're in the like, I don't know. Also, side note, Applejack is probably the most problematic, which is for multiple reasons. He has constant beef with both Rarity and Rainbow, and I don't think there's any other characters who really don't get along with another character consistently. She and Rainbow are both super competitive, and they're actually very similar, and that's why they don't get along. And I just talked about her issues with Rarity because they are opposites, kind of. Going forward, Rarity and Applejack mostly just had pleasant interactions, although Rainbow and Applejack, they never really got over it. I mean, it's complicated. They would never pass up an opportunity to compete. I think the three of them's strange battles with each other is honestly all in good fun because none of them ever really got their feelings hurt in those battles. Like, there was a lot of, you know, little episodes where somebody would get their feelings hurt, but it was not really because of the things I just talked about. They were more just competition and annoyance at most. So for Rarity, I did a nice little glam look, and then another that's more Manhattan fashionista, one that's a little more practical, but I liked seeing both on her. I also struggled so hard with her face too. I only redid it around 3 times, but just like Rainbow, I just couldn't figure out how to correctly capture her essence. Okay, so let's talk about Pinkie. She might be my favorite of the characters, although Fluttershy has got to be close. Pinkie is such a sweetie. I love her so much. She's the element of laughter, and she's amazing, but sometimes other characters don't get it. I will say her character is mistreated a lot by the other characters. And sometimes she's singled off or dismissed for her ideas because people just think they're stupid. They often turn out to be really good ideas, and she's actually really smart, like all the time, consistently. She proves them wrong because she's just like actually really intuitive and also really fun and a little weird. So others discredit her. I kind of feel that deeply. I can't claim that I have good ideas or that I'm fun. I'm not fun, but I am a little weird in real life anyway. I don't know if I'm weird online because I don't want y'all to say that, but I am making this video and that's kind of weird in itself. I think she's honestly just the best character because she's the most kind and understanding other than Fluttershy. They're different socially, but real sweethearts. And she never hurts her friends. I love her so much. I gave her little yellow streaks in her hair, as you might be able to see, because I thought it was a cute touch. And she has got a lot of pink going on, but I like incorporating the, the colors of the balloon on her cutie mark. I could probably make Pinkie a whole wardrobe because her style kind of reminds me of Teenage Carmen in my Chromatic Legacy challenge. I really like dressing that style, fun and colorful and cute. She's definitely brighter than Carmen though. They are both comedians though, so I think I might be onto something. So now we are done with the main 6 and we're going to talk a little bit about Zecora. So I'm not super in the loop about whether or not Zecora is seen as like positive representation for African people or zebras? I don't know. She was initially introduced kind of early into the series as a scary character speaking in riddles and scary things. riddles, and they assumed it was like curses and an evil type of magic, which is weird because they are unicorns, you know? A unicorn being afraid of a zebra because they're magical is quite rich. But anyway, I don't know if it was a great start, but it does end up being a lesson of not being judgmental, which I think had a more positive impact on me as a kid, but I don't know. I haven't, like, when I was looking stuff up, because of course I was doing research for this video, I didn't see much about people thinking she was a positive or negative representation, so I'm not sure. But regardless, I do love her. Zecora was designed to be a sage and a mentor to whom the ponies could go for information on their quest. But that part didn't really make it into the series, although I would say that still happened to some extent. I think she's really cool, and she's quite helpful and feels like a guiding hand of wisdom. I think she's a bit older than the ponies. She speaks in rhymes almost exclusively, and she is quite isolated. She isn't in the normal pony crowd, and she's a zebra, but she is seen quite positively after her introduction. Introduction is that one episode where the famous TikTok sound, it's not that famous, I'm probably just in the weird circles, but where Fluttershy becomes manly and Twilight's horn like wilts and all. I don't know if that's actually like something that people know about, but at first I think she is the cause because she was introduced, but it is the opposite. She ends up curing them, and her like spooky words in the beginning were literally just a warning. Hey, don't go near to that plant, it'll curse you. They didn't listen because they thought she was weird, and they thought she was the one who cursed them, so they really did her dirty. But like, it was like meant to be seen that way, you know? It was meant to be seen. They were in the wrong for feeling that way, for thinking that way, when it's quite clear that she is a very wise and compassionate character, because again, she did not know these people and they were treating her weird, but she was telling them, she was giving them a warning to help them. I have a couple quotes from her because I like them. So in the episode she was introduced, she said, "Maybe next time you will take a second look and will not judge the cover of the book." In another episode, I don't know the context of this one, but I think it's cute. I think it's a cute quote. She's talking to Apple Bloom, which is the little sister of Applejack. "Now, Apple Bloom, don't be silly. You are always welcome, my little filly," which is like really, really cute. "Each mistake you learn something new, growing up into a better you." It's like, that's cute. She's very kind and wise, as I said. Love Zecora so much. Also, I almost forgot to say this. In the video, I give her a dress, and I don't think it's the one I finally went with, but I did give her a dress and consider a dress that had zebra print on it. That is not a real zebra. I cannot stress this enough. That is like super vegan dress. I promise. It feels so messed up any other way. I promise you it's fake. So in this episode, as I said, a lot of the main six were pretty judgment. Well, the whole town was. The whole town was terrified of her. But they were following the main six, and the main six definitely made some mistakes along the way. They were definitely way too judgmental. Both Zecora and Maud are kind of random characters to do in this episode, but I'm gonna keep adding random characters. We're gonna talk about Maud now. Now, Maud is probably my second favorite background character of all time. Maud is Pinkie's sister, and on the surface, they're very different, but I think they are actually alike in a lot of ways. They grew up in a very gray home. Like, grew up in a very gray farm. Pinkie was gray at some point, but she had a revelation at some point where she was like, oh, I don't know if gray is for me, you know? But the thing about Maud is they both express themselves true to themselves. Like, Maud she's not suppressing like fun and colorful parts of herself. No, she's completely herself. And they are both completely misunderstood by peers. It is shown in so many episodes that both of them just are not understood. Maud loves rocks. She has a pet rock named Boulder. She loves the little guy. The wiki talks about her a little bit better than I do. Here are a couple of interesting bits that I pulled directly from the wiki. Despite her apathetic demeanor, Maud is shown to be mature and responsible for her sister Pinkie. Despite not sharing Pinkie's interest in throwing surprise parties and making candy, she enjoys doing such activities with Pinkie solely because her sister enjoys it, which is so cute. Maud often feels excluded by other ponies due to their inability to understand her interests and mannerisms, which I think is also very much something that Pinkie struggles with. Like, so often. So in that way, she's very like her sister. I also have some quotes from her because I think they're truly fabulous. Mulder and I sometimes play a game called Camouflage. It's kind of like hide and seek, but way more intense. She is really monotone. Never has any expression on her face. Pinkie, however, can tell when she's happy. She can tell the difference in expressions, even though the viewer cannot, which is so cute. Like, oh my goodness, this is adorable. She also wrote some nice little poems. I can't remember what the context of it was, but everybody was getting excited because they were like, oh, she wrote a poem, and this was the poem. Rock, you are a rock. Gray, you are gray like a rock, which you are. Rock. Truly the best poem I've ever heard. This next one is about rocks. They're all about rocks. Rocks. These are my rocks. Sediments make me sedimental. Smooth and round, asleep in the ground. Shades of brown and gray. Love her so much. She's so fun. Like, I love Pinkie and Maud. They are the cutest sisters. And then I have a final quote from her. I don't really like candy. I do love Pinkie Pie when she was talking about, like, you know, spending time with her sister even if she didn't really like the activity. There's an episode in which Rarity and Maud actually become friends. It's cute because not a lot of people understand Maud, and that shows throughout the show. And while Rarity doesn't really either, the understanding grows when she gives Maud a chance. Rarity reaches out because she, you know, wants to be friendly, but she doesn't understand Maud's way of expressing herself. Rarity thinks that Maud doesn't like her. At the end of the episode, you know, she walks away and Rarity's like, I couldn't tell. She didn't even, like, smile a little bit. I don't feel like she liked that very much. And Pinkie was like, are you kidding me? That was the most I've ever seen her smile. Pinkie was like, are you kidding me? That's the happiest she's ever looked. Those sisters know each other really well. It's so sweet. Also, Rarity loves her jewels, and Maud likes her rocks, and I feel like that's a commonality. They're close enough. They're both the gemology skill in The Sims 4, so close enough. So, I know I might be a little too old for it, but I don't care. I think we should all be a little bit more connected to our childhoods, because a lot of times, if you go back to something that you really loved as a child, and you still have positive memories associated with it. Yeah, and as I'm talking about the background characters, I'm starting to realize just how much intention and depth some of the lessons and stories are. Not everything was executed perfectly, but Maud and Zecora are wonderful characters. I knew the main six had a lot going for them, but I think background characters can tell you a lot about a show. This one tends to take the approach of kindness and non-judgmentalness. Obviously, friendship is magic is cheesy as hell, but it's also kind of a feel-good thing, and it's just kind of sweet. I think the show did a lot of good for me growing up, and that's why I'm covering it, because I think it's fun. And also, the characters would look really cool in The Sims. Like, they're so colorful. I love making colorful Sims, so it's like a great opportunity here, you know? The next episode, we'll be taking a look at royalty in this series. Really excited about that one. If you enjoyed this video, consider checking out my Let's Plays, because I just started a new generation of my Rosewood legacy. It's a legacy where I do what I want, and it's very interesting, in my personal opinion. Last generation was a murder mystery that took place in a university, and I made a movie, and this generation is going to be hopefully just as fun. It's going to be relating to city living, nightlife, and things that go bump in the night. So if you're interested in that, I would love if you checked it out, because I put effort into these videos for sure, but my real heart goes into those Let's Plays. I also just finished up a Life and Death mini-series, and I am in the middle of my Cherry and the Chromatic Legacy challenge, which I mentioned earlier. If you like Pinkie Pie, you might like the series. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about their little Sims, and I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.